one of the advantages of the Sand Hills is you can get some elevation real quick. Park on top of one of those hills, get out the spotting scope, the binos, work that cover over, and boy, we didn't take long. We found where those deer were.
Oh, down in the bottom there.
Yeah, I see 3 of them standing there.
They're straight ahead of us.
We dare get out right here.
He's kind of hidden. I don't know if I could get a shot at him from here.
People of America, that in all of it, we shall be defending a way of life, our American way of life.
Bro! Yeah! Dude, that was like 10 yards!
It doesn't matter if you're 25 feet up an oak tree or sprinting through the open hills out west. The elusiveness of the whitetail always remains the same. Even in such a place as central Nebraska, a vast openness painted with sunset-kissed hills, hunting whitetails can still be a draining challenge for even the most skilled of hunters. However, for local rancher Scott Fink, it can seem like a walk in the park. This wildlife-rich land has actually been in Scott's family since 1904, operating as a cattle farm since the beginning. It wasn't until 2012 that Scott decided to create Goose Creek Outfitters. Since its formation, Scott has guided hundreds of hunters to trophy class bucks, including one of outdoor writer Brad Fenson's most memorable hunts. Let's go back to 2018 and watch Brad.
Big Sandhill buck down.
Oh, I am pumped. Oh, unbelievable.
Well, we've had another fabulous hunt here in Goose Creek Outfitters in the Sand Hills of Nebraska. It's getting to be one of my favorite places to hunt deer. We didn't take long. We found where those deer were.
Oh, down in the bottom there.
Yeah, I see 3 of them standing there.
They're straight ahead of us.
We dare get out right here.
He's kind of hidden. I don't know if I could get a shot at him from here.
Modern Hunter is brought to you by
Well, we've had another fabulous hunt here in Goose Creek Outfitters in the Sand Hills of Nebraska. It's getting to be one of my favorite places to hunt deer. It's a real sleeper. I mean, these hills, it looks like vast amounts of grass and open country that you couldn't hide a ground squirrel. But trust me, those deer find a way to eke out a living in those hills and do very well, and their populations are flourishing.
Out here, there's not a lot of cover. I mean, it's a lot of wide open country, so When it's really windy like this, you got to kind of hunt behind tree lots. You know, those deer they'll go up in the hills and they'll bed down and tuck in pockets out of the wind, so you kind of got to look for places out of the wind or behind the big tree lots out here. Like in this country, our whitetail bucks will travel quite a ways, I think, because they're kind of concentrated to this valley. So I mean, they'll hit woodlot to woodlot and then cruise the creek bottoms. So I mean, I'd say they'd travel 4, 5, 6 miles up and down this valley here.
We got into the blind the first morning expecting to find several bucks, and instead we found coyotes, and it really moved the deer out of that area. We sat tight, we had some opportunities. We did see a really nice 4x4. It's a young deer, so we opted to pass. You know, we saw a wonderful symphony of blackbirds on this trip, getting chased by a small short-eared owl. I think the owl was more playing with them, but they were moving around like it was choreographed to music. It was pretty interesting to watch them. There are cues for hunters. Pay attention. You know, when the birds are moving, the deer are going to be moving. When the coyotes are moving, the other critters are going to be moving. So there's lessons to be learned out there, and the more you pay attention to, the more successful you're going to be in the end.
He actually got a pretty good frame on him, and he looks heavy.
Okay.
Nice front beams. Yeah, that might be a shooter, actually. He's outside his ears.
Okay.
We did see a bigger buck that afternoon and went back and set up, and even though we had real cold temperatures, we sat out like statues on the open grassland. The first evening we were out there, it got really cold when the sun set. I probably would have to say that I was underdressed for the conditions. Cold never hurts to get things moving. They do definitely need more groceries to keep the calories up, generate heat, and of course they're growing lots of warmer hair and stuff. So nutrients are always important with the cold. Cold brings the deer out as far as I'm concerned, so we were there right to the fading light.
I'm going to tell you why Scent Thief is one of the best scent elimination products on the market. You know, their tagline is make the wind your cover. And it is a simple, cool product to use. It uses evaporation, which is a little bit different than anything on the market. It uses a mixture of essential oils. Russell won't tell me what those are, nor do I want to know. He was a trapper, right? And a lot of the scents, the really quality scents or scent elimination products on the market today have come from trappers. So Russell's background was he was a trapper. He's trying to figure out a more efficient way to do coyotes and was looking into things, using different concoctions, mixtures. Boom, he thought he had this fine-tuned, tested it again on coyotes, worked extremely well. What's cool about it is it's a product that literally the more you use, the better it is, right? Because it works off of evaporation. So you have these conditions, it's super easy to use. First, you want to shake up the bottle because it says shake well. You want to make sure that the essential oils that are in there are mixed through the fluid. Once it's shook up, all you have to do is you can spray down your clothes, spray down your boots, walk in like you normally would. Russell will tell you he likes to actually spray his trail down, and he uses a stream. So as he walks, he'll just constantly stream out scent thief as he gets to his stand. When he gets to his stand, takes it around the base of his tree stand, makes sure he's got plenty of scent thief at the base, crawls up in the stand, again, spray out a little bit. Scent thief comes in 2 different sizes, the large, which is your standard, or they got a smaller one, which is great to tuck away in your backpack. Check out Scent Thief. It's one of those must-haves in your backpack.
Second morning, we stuck with our game plan. We went back to the same blind. We put in our time. We saw that same 4-point buck we saw the first morning on the tail of a hot doe. You know, she was on the run, came running down along a strip of native cover, some really heavy willows and alders and stuff like that. And that buck wasn't a minute behind her. The doe was not in sight, but the buck never left that doe's trail. At one point, he had to double back to find her smell again where her hooves had been on the ground, but he was able to scent that doe just like a bloodhound, you know, going right to the prize at the end of the day. So always interesting to watch. And of course, we were geared up hoping that there was going to be more than one buck, but that's all we saw that morning. We came back out and our outfitter Scott Fink said, man, we saw a really good whitetail go into a shelter belt chasing does, and I think we better go spend some time over there.
But I don't know if that buck was with him or if he was already in the trees or what, because when we were watching him, we didn't see him until later. He came out of the trees bumping him.
Oh, down in the bottom there.
Yeah, I see 3 of them standing there. I think we're too exposed over here. We have no cover.
Right, well, we are for sure.
I think we should at least get over there.
Yep.
I'd really like to probably get the other direction if we could.
You mean on the other
On
side?
the south side where we were. But he's right there. I seen his rack in the trees.
Okay.
You know, we got a quick look at him at one point, but couldn't get on him for a shot. We moved into some sand breaks, got a good rest.
There he is.
Is he back in there?
And he's right straight ahead of us. Like
Should I get
straight
to this?
ahead. See where that tall pine is? Come down underneath it to the left.
I think we dare get out right here.
He's kind of hidden. I don't know if I could get a shot at him from here.
Well, hoping for the best for that buck to come out, and of course when he did, he came out on the back end of the shelter belt. It was high cover, we had a good shot, but it immediately moved into the low stuff. I knew I could see the deer in the scope, but I had a quick look and my muzzle was lined up with the hill in front of me. If I'd have shot, I would have just scared the deer out and never hit it. So we had to make a little scramble, a little change, get a little more elevation, find that deer in the scope. But at this point, he'd moved into that really heavy cover in the bottom.
Modern Hunter is brought to you by
it was tough to get a shot. You know, you're always excited, you want to shoot as quick as you can, you don't know if they're going to disappear. You know, the cover actually dropped off quicker. They could have dropped into a ravine and disappeared. So I was watching carefully through my scope, trying to pick those shooting lanes through that heavy cover, and eventually that buck took a step forward, and when he lifted his head, it lifted more of his body out of the cover as well, and I was able to get a good shot on him. Well, there it is. Nebraska's always treated me so well. I actually have some friends that live here, and they always say, Fenson, you got to quit telling people what we have here in Nebraska. We don't want anyone else coming out here. But this is why you come visit the Sand Hills. It looks like a stark, wide open, grassy hills for miles and miles that couldn't hurt, hide a gopher. Yet these incredible deer live here. And, I've been coming here for, I think it's 8 years in a row now, and it just keeps getting better and better. Of course, we get to know our hunting area better as well, but the genetics are here and the habitat's here, and that makes big deer. You know, when you put those two things together, you produce deer like this, and I mean, I couldn't ask for more. I feel pretty spoiled today.
You know, the rage has been, especially the last, I'm gonna say 5 years on crossbows, right? Is faster, better optics, and people are upgrading every other year. They're buying a new crossbow. Man, that's not me. I'm too, I guess, cheap to say it better. I'm gonna take my old crossbow and just put a better set of optics, specifically the Oracle X by Burris. So what's that do? It's got that range finding capability in the optic itself. So therefore, all I have to do is hit the button. It's gonna literally range it, put the dot in the exact same spot where you need to aim. So it doesn't matter if the animal's 20 yards, 40 yards, 50 yards, it's gonna range it for you, put that dot in the right spot. And the best part about Burris, it comes with a lifetime warranty. No receipts needed, electronics, you name it. So if you put your money into an Oracle X and something does go wrong, simply send it back and they're gonna get you a new one or fix the one that you did have. Again, I'm taking that crossbow and turning that 30, 40 yard crossbow into a longer range weapon, and that's what everybody wants. Even though I would prefer that every hunter in America shoot deer within that 40 yards or closer, let's face it, some guys are gonna take that longer shot. At least they'll know that that arrow, as long as they're holding that dot on the animal, is gonna hit where they said it's gonna hit. Comes with a wireless remote that you can literally stick on your crossbow anywhere you want it. Also comes with an electronic bubble leveler so that you don't cant your crossbow. It's always perfectly parallel. It has automated brightness controls, which is the way I'm gonna go, because there's nothing worse than having that animal in front of you and pulling up and all you see is your dot because it's so bright it doesn't see anything else.